going to harvest our garlic this afternoon, and it's the middle of July right now, and we planted this in the middle of October, which is our Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. And what you want to look for with garlic is for a couple of the outer leaves to have gone brown. One or two of them, and just give it a bit of a wiggle and a pull. And you can brush off some of that extra dirt. And you can still see that it's protected by these papers. So we've only had like one leaf really die back. The first year that we planted garlic, we let it go too long and a few of the leaves died back, and then the cloves inside were exposed, so it wasn't good for long-term storage, and we ended up having to peel it all and then freeze it. So this saves us a lot of trouble to harvest it on time. It's a good size. And so now we're ready to pull it all out. And a couple of weeks ago, we cut back all the scapes. So you can see where we took those out. And they go up and curl around. I think we have a few in the house that we could even show later what they look like. So you cut them off so that it doesn't go to seed. And then you're putting more of the energy into the bulb. So we're just going to pull all these out today. Are you going to do the speed up thing? That's nice. Ooh, what's that?
There you go. Beautiful.
Yeah, was there more down at the back?
Volunteers.
Because of the time of year it is, I'm going to use the space that we just took out all the garlic from, and I'm going to just tidy up a little bit, and then I'm going to throw down some carrot seeds and some parsnip seeds, because those are plants that go really late into the year here, and even if we cover them with a bit of straw, you can push a carrot harvest all the way into January, as long as you can keep the ground from freezing. And as well, parsnips, you can actually harvest our parsnips. We've harvested ours in the following spring. They're really sweet that way after a good frost. So we're going to reuse this area so we can get a second harvest out of this spot on the ground. So here's some of our garlic that we have. We have a huge pile of it sitting here. But this one here, you can take a look. We actually had some grass that was growing through it. And as a result of that, the paper's been broken. And what that means is this is the first garlic we will have. These interesting groups that are here, we missed these last year. These are individual bulbs. So what ended up happening is we missed a garlic bulb that had grown last year's harvest, and it just comes back out, and they look really pretty because they have this nice, beautiful green foliage, but you also get all these little bulbs on the bottom. Again, some of these we might have to take earlier, or they're just going to have to be small. So we ended up close to 50 garlic bulbs today. And by the way, these are the garlic scapes that Shauna was talking about. So this is actually contains the seed head. And so we trim these off so that the bulbs can grow stronger. These three came from the one that had obviously the smallest ones of the garlic bulbs. Earlier today as well, we were harvesting some pod peas, and we harvested a few sugar snap. Hasn't been a great year for peas this year for us, but hey, we get anything you can get is a bonus to help enhance your own diet. And we can remember the first couple of years we gardened in different places, and we didn't get hardly anything at all, but you still do it to gain experience, and there's still that pleasure of eating, even if it's only one or two things that you grew yourself. It's still a real blessing. And again, here's the lettuces that we're going to turn into something else, into our greens powder, and as well the wild vegetables like dandelion. So it's important you get all this harvest. Now the next question is, what are you going to do with it? And we'll just kind of go over that with these different pieces here. For the garlic, we're actually going to spread this out on the table and allow it to dry out outside for a few days and maybe even a week. And then once it's all papery, like you see in the store, we're going to take this garlic in, we're going to cut off the green parts, and we're going to let it dry out further. And then we've got garlic for the whole winter, which is a great thing to have for all kinds of different styles of cooking. So we're just going to set this garlic back out and take some of these things in and get ready for the next step. So Sean and I were just talking about garlic and why would we grow garlic? I mean, it is one of the least expensive things you can buy in the store, but there's lots of really good reasons to grow garlic. And one of the first reasons for me when I think about it is it's actually not that hard to grow. You plant it in the fall, you watch it come up in the spring, you trim off those scapes so that the bulbs will grow bigger. And you can eat those scapes, by the way. We didn't mention that before, but those scapes, you just cut them up and it's like having a green onion, but it's garlic flavored. So it's like a whole extra crop you get to harvest. And yeah, it's just really simple to grow. Sometimes it's a little tough to pull them out of the ground, but that goes with almost any vegetable. So what are some of the other reasons, Shauna? You just mentioned a whole bunch just before we started.
It's flavorful. We like the flavor better. We like knowing where our food comes from. We like growing it ourselves. Sometimes I found that the stuff that we buy in the store just kind of turns to powder. Maybe because we leave it too long. I don't know. But this lasts a long time, and it's good. And we like growing it ourselves. It's easy. It's kind of one of those things that you can feel good about because it doesn't take a whole lot of effort for you, but then you end up getting a really nice product that lasts a long time, that can just stay in your house.
That's right. And again, when you look in the store, it's really important to read your labels and find out where things are being shipped from. The closer that something is grown to home, the better it is overall for the planet. Think about how far garlic has to be shipped. If it's coming across the ocean from a place like China or Southeast Asia, that's just it costs a lot of jet fuel. That's not good for the atmosphere because that needs to be produced. We don't know exactly how they're farming it. Is it the same as we would? Definitely not, because I take care of my own plants because I get to know them. I don't actually name my plants. That would be silly. But or sing to the. I haven't tried singing to my plants, so maybe another time we'll do that experiment. But Sean was mentioning to you how garlic can last a long time. Now you can make mistakes in storage, so we brought in a few of our garlic. And as well, we'll show you one of our favorite tools for storing garlic, and that is our garlic jar. So, Sean, if you can just talk about the garlic jar for a little bit.
Sure. This one is from a local pottery place just up the road from us here. And it has these holes in it so that the garlic can breathe. And you can keep quite a few bulbs in here at once. And because it's pretty, it can just sit on your countertop, or it can be in a cupboard if you want to. But it's specifically made for garlic storage.
And this is a good example here. This garlic here, the paper all the way around is starting to thin out, and it actually looks like garlic, like paper you'd see in the store. And you can trim the hairs off if you want. We don't necessarily need to trim all the hairs off. And the kind that we have, now there's some garlics that these leaves are really, you can move them around quite easy and you can braid them. These ones, what were these called again? I like to call them stick garlic, but that's not actually what they're.
Hardneck garlic.
So these are hardneck garlic, and we like these because they're really easy to pull out. And it's just kind of what we've always done and had really good product. So what we're going to do with this is we're just going to put it with the rest of them back here. We're going to be storing them in this half bushel basket. And when we run out of garlic in the garlic jar, we'll just go downstairs, trim them off, and bring them up and refill the garlic jar. However, we also had some that we're not going to be able to do that with. So let's just take a peek at these ones.
These ones you can see that the papers are so thin that you can actually see the heads here or the individual cloves. So they're not going to last for long-term storage. But what you do is you use up these ones first. So Jed has gone through and pulled them out. Sometimes you have I don't know if you can see with this one here, but there's like a hole in here that came right through, and it was actually a grass root that went right through the garlic. So it kept the papers from actually being able to form over. So we'll let these dry out a bit still. They're still good for a while, but either we will take them all out and freeze them, or we'll likely just be able to use them all up first before they would start to go bad. And when you do trim them, you want to trim them close to here, and then you do trim the little roots off the bottom. And you just want to shake and brush off as much dirt as possible. But you don't really want to rub, because then you do end up tearing those papers for the ones that you want for long-term storage.
And you certainly wouldn't want to wash them.
No.
Because that would make the papers wet, and then you got to dry them out all over again.
Well, they would get moldy.
And they're going to get moldy. So, hey, thanks for joining us. We have fun with garlic. It does not take up a lot of space. So you might go, well, I don't have much of a big yard. That doesn't matter. You can still grow your own garlic. Remember, we're rooting for you guys that you can do this on your own. These little things in homesteading, growing your own food, and then later on, we'll be using some of this garlic when we get into some of the hospitality and recipes that we practice around here as we share our food and share our time together. So thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye from Christy, too.
Very good.
Hey.
You're in a video. You like that?
Is she in the video?
I don't know.